All right. Thank you guys for the feedback. We want to make sure you guys are able to hear this. We're able to kind of produce something for you guys so that you understand what the changes are. So just want to reiterate what I just said. I'm going to be going over the administrative changes and any other questions as far as what the ROI entails as a whole, what it means to be an open system, ROI, all of those kind of things. I've attached documents to the email that goes over all of that whenever we switched to the open ROI back in 2014 we've created. So there's a ROI training workflow that just kind of talks about how to actually do it in Service Point. And I'll kind of go over that again with you guys, but just so you guys know that there's a document for that. That was included in the email reminder, and I'll include it as well when I follow up after this. And then there's also a ROI FAQ that we did last time that you will also be able to have access to in that email. Other than that, we're going to go ahead and get started with the changes. So this is to address the administrative changes we have made to the ROI. And just as a basic refresher as well, if you have any questions throughout the duration of the GoToMeeting, please indicate them in the chat box. I'm going to leave time at the end of the training to address as many questions as you guys have in the chat box. Whatever I'm not able to address, I will copy those to a FAQ document following this training, as well as any emails that you guys have and things like that as well. So the rest of the questions we're not able to address will be compiled into another FAQ, and we'll try to get that to you guys as soon as possible. So for this training, you'll need to have a copy of the new release of information. That was attached to the email that I sent you guys, and it's also online at austinecho.org under the HMIS documents. It's the first document. It's labeled 2016 ROI, and it looks like this. So if you're looking at my screen and you are on the Echo website, click on HMIS, HMIS documents, and it's going to be that 2016 HMIS final ROI, and it'll pull up the new revised release of information. So go ahead and either make sure you have a copy of that pulled up on your computer, or you have a printed out version of that. All right, so the new copy of the ROI will go into effect on 4 April, so next Monday. So you're going to want to make sure that you have a copy of the new ROI that is ready for all new clients that come in. At this time, there is no need to go back and get old clients to sign the new ROI, but you will want to make sure that all new clients as of 4 April moving forward are using the new ROI. So again, make sure that you have copies of that. If you are the agency administrator, make sure that your end users have the new version of that. If you guys are putting them in packets, whatever that looks like, make sure you guys get that out to the branches of people that are going to be filling this out. You can tell that it's the new release of information by looking on the bottom right-hand side of it. It says revised 3/25/2016. So that's just to show you, it's one of the ways you can identify that it's the new release of information. So at this time, let's go ahead and pull out the copy of the release of information with the changes, and we'll go ahead and go over the changes that you see. All right, so at the top right of the ROI, there's a place to put the client's name and HMIS number. This was added to help with the basic workflow and helping to keep the pages together. So again, client name, HMIS. This isn't the signature. You're still going to want to get the signature on the back page. This is just for you guys to type out that this is Joe Smith and his service point number is 12345, and that way all of the pages have that client's identifying information on them. Just kind of keep them together and to just kind of have a quick glance at whose ROI this belongs to. So again, very minor change, administrative, and shouldn't make a big change in what you're already doing. So we're going to go ahead and scroll down. Nothing's been changed up here. Nothing's been changed on the front other than the client name and HMIS number. So we're going to go ahead and go to the second page of the release of information. Go ahead and turn over. This is where you will see a list of the current Austin Travis County HMIS agencies. So the only changes that you will see here are that we have updated the lists. So again, if you'll remember, the release of information specifically tells the client that this list is kind of fluid, and as agencies join our COC and as they leave our COC, the clients don't have to come back in and sign a new release of information every time that happens. They just need to be aware that it does happen. So again, this isn't a change that would require them to come back and re-sign an ROI, but it is something that as you meet with your clients, feel free to let them know that new agencies have joined the COC, and agencies can have potentially left as well. So if you're looking at the current Austin Travis County HMIS agencies list, on the left-hand side, the first agency that you're going to see that has been added is Block by Block. Under Block by Block is Community Care, and then on the right-hand side you have Trinity Center and the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs. So we've added these 4 agencies that are now starting to work with us. Just an example of what some of them are going to be doing. Block by Block is going to be working with us as far as the housing side of things. They're going to be working probably one end user on their end. Community Care is going to be working with the street outreach team, where they are going out in the community and providing some type of medical assistance to those end users. Trinity Center is providing services. These are all agencies that have been vetted to be within the COC and have gone through the process of what that means to sign with us as end users as well. So Trinity Center providing basic services to individuals experiencing homelessness. Services only program. None of these programs are housing programs. They're all going to be services only programs. And then the last one is the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs, so the VA. The VA was an integral part of our Ending Veterans Homelessness initiative, and now they are officially in Service Point, which is really exciting. We've been working with them for years to get them involved in Service Point, and we're actually one of the first COCs still in the grand scheme of things and in the nation to kind of work with the Veteran Affairs the way that we're working with them and getting them into Service Point. So it's a really big deal. We're really excited about that. And something to keep in mind with all of these agencies is when we vet agencies to be part of the COC, they go through a process of working with our executive directors, making sure that the membership council, board of directors, everybody's on board with these agencies, and that this agency would contribute to clients if they had access to Service Point. So just something to keep in mind. These are the current list of Austin Travis County HMIS agencies that have access to Service Point and have licenses. So that's it for that page. Again, it was just an update to the list of agencies. All right, so we're going to go ahead and turn it to the back page, or if you were on the computer, scroll. Again, any questions you guys have as I'm going through this, just continue to type them in. I will address them at the end of going through all of these. And I see that you guys are asking questions now, so just, yeah, I'll come back at the end and just make sure that I capture all those questions. All right, so the last page is the changes that you will see. And again, keep in mind that they are administrative in that we've just kind of changed the way that the release of information looks. So what you're going to see now is 2 boxes. You're going to see an optional agency section box at the top and an optional treatment records section box at the bottom. And then at the very end, you have where the client signs their name, their dependent's name, representative signature, and then the witness signature. So the biggest things to note here is that we put a box around the optional agencies section and put the if you chose no section below it so that you can tell that they go together. So now the way that it'll read is they will have by signing the release of information in the first place, they are sharing within Service Point. So now on this back page, they're having some additional options that they can choose from. So the first one is optional agencies section. Again, the yes and the no are the exact same. So yes, all Austin Travis County HMIS agencies may share and discuss personal information about me and my family outside of the computer system to help give us services. They may also share this information with outside agencies for research, reporting, and coordinating services. So you'll notice here that we added this paragraph, but it's not a paragraph that is brand new. We just moved it from the first page of the ROI to this page because it goes under what saying yes means. So their permission to share their information will last for 7 years from the date they sign this form. You can cancel this permission at any time by sending a written letter to the agency where you filled out this form, and it may take up to 3 business days to process this cancellation letter. So that yes is not changing at all. Again, just some basic information around that yes. It means when they say yes here, they're saying, I understand you guys are already sharing within Service Point. Now I'm giving you guys the availability and the option to share outside of Service Point if you need to, as far as their means of communication. You're also able to share with any other outside agencies or entities to provide me services. So whatever that looks like for that case manager. By saying yes here, they're giving the case manager / HMIS end user the go-ahead to work with those people without having to come back and check with the end user every time they are working with someone new. So again, nothing changed there. All we did was bring that paragraph about how long it's going to last and that they can cancel their permission to the actual yes. And one of the forms that I sent you guys in the email was that cancellation letter. So I'm going to go over that cancellation letter really quick. We don't require them to use this exact cancellation letter. If they just want to write down, I want to cancel my sharing and sign it and date it, we've okayed that in the past. But we went ahead and did this like formal client release of information letter as well, so that you guys can have that printed out. And it's just important to remind them that it's going to take some time if they would like to cancel their additional sharing for us to go in and make those changes. So they'd have to fill this form out with you and then get that to us back at Echo so that we can move forward with that. So again, nothing new there, just the way that it looks. So then moving to the no, you have the no, I do not want HMIS agencies to share and discuss my personal information outside of the computer system. I also do not want information that can be used to tell who I am to be part of any outside reports or research. HMIS agencies may only share information in the computer system for questions I chose to answer. So again, this no is saying that I understand my information is in Service Point, and in Service Point it's shared to all of those agencies on that list and all of the end users who work at those agencies. But no, I don't want to share to agencies outside of those on the list. I also don't want my information shared for outside research or reporting. So again, this hits on if we were to do reporting and somebody had said no here, we wouldn't use their identifying information for that reporting. So it's the difference between aggregate data and sharing client level data. So just be aware that that's the same, that didn't change. So where you will see the change is that underneath the no, if they said no as a blanket statement, like, no, I don't want you to be able to share outside of the system at all, they can choose to still let HMIS agencies share and discuss personal information with specific outside agencies or individuals outside of the computer system to coordinate services. And if they want to do that, they will initial their choices below. So again, by signing the release of information, they've agreed to share within the COC. And so what this yes or no is saying is that we work with clients with other agencies outside of the COC to help provide them services. By saying yes here, they're saying you can work with whoever you need to work with to get me those services, and you don't have to keep coming back in and checking with me or signing anything else. So by saying no here, they're saying I don't want you working with any of those other agencies, and if you do, then you're going to have to follow up and get additional consent from me. But what they can do here, and this was a feature that we added when we went to an open release of information, we added because as in case managers, we kind of were told that we would like to have an option to release that client level HMIS data to agencies that weren't on the list without having to do additional agency releases of information. So if the client says no here, that they don't want to kind of just have that blanket statement that we can work with whoever we need to work with, then they can put who specifically they want us to work with down here if they're currently working with somebody, or if we as the end users know that we are actively working with one of these groups, you can let them know up front. So I'll pick one of these, for example. You'll notice down at the bottom it says Social Security Administration. If the client comes to you and they're like, I'm working with the Social Security Administration to try to get some stuff ironed out, I'd like for you guys to have an open line of communication. But they initial next to no because they didn't want you to be able to just work with anybody. They could come down there, initial their name next to Social Security Administration, and that would entail you being able to have that open line of communication with that agency the same way you would with the list of agencies that are already working in ServicePoint. So again, this isn't any different. The only difference you're going to see is that if you chose no above, used to be if you chose yes above, and it was kind of out of order. So now what we've done is we've moved it to being actually underneath the no. So the client has the option to say yes to anybody and everybody we need to work with, or no, just HMIS COC agencies, or no but. So no but I'm going to give you my contact person information because I did a coordinated assessment, and if they call me, I want you to be able to contact me at this. I want you to be able to call that person to contact me. Whatever that looks like for them, whatever outside agencies they want you to work with, they can indicate that here. So again, the biggest change that you'll see is that we put all of that in a box, where if you remember previously, this whole if you chose no above section was below the signature line. And I can actually pull up an old release of information so you can see the difference. And you guys are asking some really good questions. Keep them coming, and I'll follow up with them. So I'm going to pull up this other release of information, the old one. All right, so here's the old release of information, and I'm going to scroll to the last page so you can see the difference. So the please initial below, if you want to put treatment records, is here at the top. So basically what we've done is we've moved that information down to the bottom and put it in a box below. Again, it means the exact same thing. If they want to give us treatment records, they can give it to us, initial next to it, and we're going to treat it the same way we did the rest of their HMIS data. So that didn't change. We just moved it. And then for the please choose one, yes or no, that's still there. Where we made a change is that we brought up this portion that's down here underneath the signature line, optional agency section, if you chose yes above. We moved that up to where it belongs underneath the yes or no. So now you'll see it as one big box. So now you have two boxes. The way I like to train this, and the way that I usually talk to people about this, is that there's kind of three different things going on here the client can consent to. The first one is just letting them know, hey, we work with a computer system called ServicePoint, and we're going to be asking you questions, maybe around 30. We're going to take those questions, we're going to put them into our computer system called ServicePoint, and there's about 240 end users, about 30 COC agencies that use ServicePoint to give you services more quickly and easily. That's the 30-second elevator spiel of what the ROI is. The additional features is what I like to call this last page, are other things that they can do on this release of information up front, COC-wide. So you have the option to give us treatment records. If you give us a copy of your treatment records, even if we don't personally need them for our agency, we can upload them to your profile, and they'll be visible to the other agencies, so that if they provide services for that specific treatment record, then they can see it. And so they would initial next to that. Again, that didn't change. And then the third kind of additional feature is that if we're working with other agencies, we have the option to share with those agencies to get them services more quickly and easily. or we don't. And so they would initial next to no, and that just means we can work within the COC. All right, so we are coming up on the end. Again, the biggest changes you'll see are on this back page. So I am going to take a minute, look at your comments and see what questions you have. If you guys have any questions or anything you'd want to add, Katie, Michael, let me know, and we can address those as well. So just so you guys know, I'm looking at your questions now. That is the end of this informational training as far as letting you guys know what changes have happened. But I'm going to look at your questions right now and see if there's any that I can address right now. So I have one question that is asking about the cancellation. So it says, how long will it take cancellation to go through once you have received cancellation notice? So on the release of information, on the third page, it says, you can cancel this permission at any time by sending a written letter to the agency where you filled out this form. It may take up to 3 business days to process this cancellation letter. So 3 business days would be the answer to that. And that's if even. But yeah, it's something to let them be aware that if they have come to you and they're like, hey, I got housing, I would like to cancel my sharing, then they can come back, fill out one of those cancellation letters, and it'll have to come to ECHO, and then it'll go through a process of us working with them. Good question. And again, that's on our website, that cancellation letter, and I'll send that again as well afterwards. Next question regarding the treatment records. Are they just PDF uploads? Is that how they would be stored within HMIS? Yes. So treatment records, again, this is an example of this is that if somebody has given us so the options down below on treatment records are mental health treatment records. So if the client has mental health disabilities and they have treatment records to back that up, and they are saying that they would like us to store those treatment records in Service Point, we're going to upload those, just like any other document, PDF, into Service Point, and it's going to be unlocked so that everybody can see it, and it'll be treated the same way their personal information does. So great question. You would upload them the same way you do any other document. How does community care collaborative differ from community care under HMIS agencies?
The community care collaborative is a collaborative of work. We need to confirm this, but it's a collaborative of work between multiple medical providers.
All right, so the community care collaborative is a
it's different medical agencies working
it's
together.
different medical agencies that are working together to potentially provide services, and then community care is an actual medical provider. They're the ones who are going to be doing street outreach. If you guys aren't familiar with the street outreach, it's basically going to be a program where they are going around in a medical-like vehicle and providing services to individuals who are experiencing homelessness.
They're already doing it.
And they're already doing it. They're just going to be now using Service Point for that. And again, if I don't answer all of your questions fully, I'm going to go back and we'll write down all of these answers as well. Spanish version. There will be a Spanish version attached as well that will look exactly the same, and that will be online, and we will provide you guys with a copy of that as well. So we are butting up on 10:30. I'm going to look through these questions real quick and see if there's any more that I can answer as of right now. It looks like that's it. All right, guys. Well, if you have any questions with me, I am going to follow up with all of you with an email after this training with a copy of this. So any questions, please let us know. If not, be ready to implement this for April, so next Monday, and we will get you copies of that. Thank you guys for coming, and I will see you guys in the community.